In the 3rd century BC, the Mediterranean world was dominated by two very different powers. Rome, located in central Italy, had spent centuries expanding across the Italian peninsula through alliances and disciplined armies. It was a land-based republic built on citizen soldiers, political institutions, and steady territorial growth. Across the sea stood Carthage, a wealthy maritime empire founded by Phoenician settlers centuries earlier, centered in North Africa near modern-day Tunis. Carthage controlled vast trade networks, colonies, and the most powerful navy in the Western Mediterranean. For decades, these two powers had coexisted without direct conflict. Geography kept them apart, and their strengths did not initially overlap. That balance changed because of Sicily, a large, fertile island strategically positioned between Italy and North Africa. Sicily was vital for trade routes, grain production, and naval control. While Carthage already held much of the island's coastline, the interior was divided among Greek city-states and local powers. The spark that ignited the First Punic War came from a smaller group known as the Mamertines, mercenaries who had seized the city of Messana, modern Messina, in northeastern Sicily. In 264 BC, threatened by the nearby Greek city of Syracuse, the Mamertines made a desperate move. They appealed to both Carthage and Rome for help. Carthage responded first, sending troops to Messana. Soon after, Rome faced a crucial decision, whether to intervene beyond Italy for the first time in its history. Rome's Senate was divided. Entering Sicily meant confronting Carthage directly, something Rome had never done. However, allowing Carthage to control Messana would place a powerful enemy dangerously close to southern Italy. Eventually, Rome decided to act. In 264 BC, Roman forces crossed the Strait of Messina and entered Sicily. This moment marked the beginning of the First Punic War. Early fighting focused on Sicily's eastern cities. Rome successfully pushed Carthaginian forces away from Messana and soon faced Syracuse, ruled by King Hiero II. After initial resistance, Hiero chose diplomacy over prolonged conflict. In 263 BC, Syracuse became a Roman ally, providing supplies and stability. This alliance strengthened Rome's position on the island and left Carthage isolated in western Sicily. By 262 BC, Rome moved against Acragas, or Adriangentum, one of Carthage's strongest bases. After a long siege, Roman forces captured the city. Although Carthaginian troops escaped by sea, the fall of Acragas signaled that Rome was no longer just a land power defending Italy. It was now a major player in Mediterranean affairs. The war, initially sparked by a local dispute, had become a full-scale struggle between two civilizations. Despite Rome's success on land, one problem remained clear. Carthage controlled the sea. Its navy had centuries of experience, skilled sailors, and advanced shipbuilding traditions. Rome, by contrast, had almost no naval history. If Rome hoped to defeat Carthage, it would have to do something extraordinary: build a fleet capable of challenging the greatest navy of the age. According to ancient sources, the Romans captured a wrecked Carthaginian warship and used it as a model. Within a short time, Rome constructed a fleet of quinqueremes, large warships powered by oars. To overcome their lack of naval skill, the Romans introduced a revolutionary device called the corvus, a rotating boarding bridge fitted with a spike. This allowed Roman soldiers to turn sea battles into close combat engagements, where their infantry training gave them an advantage. The first major test came in 260 BC at the Battle of Mylae off the northern coast of Sicily. The Roman fleet, commanded by Gaius Duilius, faced a larger Carthaginian force. Using the corvus, Roman soldiers boarded enemy ships and won a decisive victory. It was Rome's first ever naval triumph, and it shocked the Mediterranean world.
Encouraged by success, Rome expanded its naval ambitions. In 256 BC, the Romans launched a massive expedition toward North Africa itself. The fleets met near the southern coast of Sicily at the Battle of Cape Ecnemus, one of the largest naval battles of the ancient world. Rome again emerged victorious, opening the path for a direct invasion of Carthaginian territory. Roman forces landed in North Africa and initially achieved success, defeating Carthaginian armies and threatening the city of Carthage itself. However, this phase of the war would soon reveal that Rome's rise was not unstoppable.
Rome's African campaign quickly turned from success to disaster. After early victories, Roman forces suffered defeat against a reorganized Carthaginian army, reportedly trained by the Spartan mercenary commander Xanthippus. The Roman army was forced to retreat, and survivors attempted to return to Sicily by sea. Nature proved as dangerous as any enemy. Roman fleets were struck by devastating storms, sinking hundreds of ships and killing thousands of sailors. These losses occurred multiple times throughout the war, severely weakening Rome's naval strength. By contrast, Carthage relied more on experienced sailors and avoided some of these disasters. As the war dragged on, both sides were exhausted. Fighting centered once again on Sicily, with Carthage holding fortified coastal cities such as Lilybaeum and Drepanum. Rome attempted to capture these strongholds, but faced stiff resistance. In 249 BC, Rome suffered a major defeat at the Battle of Drepanum, one of Carthage's greatest victories of the war. By the late 240s BC, the conflict had become a grinding stalemate. Carthage retained strong positions, but lacked the resources to launch a decisive offensive. Rome, drained financially and militarily, struggled to maintain its fleets. Yet neither side was willing to concede defeat.
As the war entered its third decade, Rome made a bold decision. Wealthy Roman citizens privately funded the construction of a new fleet, demonstrating how deeply the war had become a national effort. This time, lessons had been learned. The ships were lighter, better built, and crews were trained more carefully. In 241 BC, the rebuilt Roman fleet confronted Carthaginian ships near the Aegates Islands off western Sicily. The Carthaginian fleet was burdened with supplies and less prepared for battle. The Romans, well-trained and maneuverable, achieved a decisive victory. The Battle of the Aegates Islands ended the First Punic War. Facing financial ruin and no viable fleet, Carthage sought peace. The peace treaty of 241 BC required Carthage to surrender Sicily to Rome and pay a large indemnity. Sicily became Rome's first overseas province, marking a turning point in Roman history. Rome was no longer just a regional power, it was now an empire in the making. Carthage, though defeated, was not destroyed. Instead, it turned its attention toward Spain, rebuilding wealth and power. The resentment caused by the loss of Sicily and the harsh terms of peace would shape Carthaginian politics for a generation. Rome emerged transformed. It had built a navy, learned to fight far from home, and proven it could adapt to new forms of warfare. The institutions and confidence forged during the First Punic War laid the foundation for future expansion. Within decades, these same two powers would clash again, this time led by one of history's most famous commanders. The First Punic War was over, but the struggle between Rome and Carthage had only just begun.